Let me know when we're rolling.
I think we're rolling. All right, friends.
All right.
We have Johan here from NatureEye. We're going to get going with our drone flights here out in Iceland. Thanks for joining us. I'm Geology Professor Shawn Willsey. We've got Amanda, Joe, and Susan as our moderators on the live stream. Folks, let me know if they can hear us okay. We're going to do a couple flights. We're going to fly to the south towards Grindavik, and then for the second one, we'll head up to the north. So we are ready when you are, Johan.
I am ready. So, hello, Shawn. Hello, everyone. And Susan, Mandy, how are you doing? Now, it's a beautiful day. You can just see it, even though we're just looking at my beautiful car. But you can't ask for better weather than this. And actually, you only get this type of weather in winter. This clear skies, totally still. There's like 1 meter per second wind and endless visibility in all directions.
Wow.
Only limited by the curvature of the earth, really.
Yeah.
So
right.
Just go ahead, take off.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Excellent introduction. Love it. All right. So we'll head
Let's
up and
keep
out.
my car in view as long as we can. All right.
Oh, that didn't last long.
You can see
Yeah, go
there's
ahead.
a little frosty haze on the lava field here. Looks awesome. So that's the older lava field, of course, and the colors and the lighting effects in this weather are just amazing. I was just filming here the other day when it was like this.
Yeah, it looks awesome. You can see not much frost on those new lava flows, which are still, I mean, amazing. Here we are, 1 to 2 years later, still retaining heat and emitting heat, and that definitely changes the landscape and the color of everything. So yeah, great lighting, Johan. Thanks for picking this day. And reminder to everyone that you can have this kind of experience for yourself or a loved one if you go to natureye.com, find a flight you want to do, whether it's in Iceland or somewhere else. Put in the code ShawnFly, so my name, ShawnFly, and that'll get you 10% off your flight. It's usually about a half-hour experience, but you get to collect photos and videos as you go. Wonderful holiday idea. It's really been a game changer for us in our community as we've tried to report on the things happening in Iceland. The webcams are nice. They give us perspective and information, but the ability to have Johan and NatureEye help us fly over the eruption site, both when it's erupting and also in periods like this where we're between eruptions, has been really invaluable. So great view there to the northeast.
It's absolutely amazing. You can really see, here's that big Amazon River lava stream from
that's
November 21 eruption.
Yep.
From the middle crater here.
Which was almost exactly a year ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was my birthday yesterday, 22nd.
Oh, happy birthday,
I was
sir.
hoping I would get an eruption for
your birthday.
For a birthday present, but that didn't quite.
Well, my birthday's coming up. Maybe it'll be my birthday. Who knows? So.
When's your birthday, Shawn?
2 days after Christmas, the 27th.
Oh, right.
So that'd be a little later than I think most people are expecting, but you never know. Wow, look at that. That's great.
The outgassing is just violent at the moment.
Yeah, and you can tell there's just really no wind almost at all.
Let's loop a little here into it. I don't want to waste too much battery because the theme for today, because I got the modem on the drone, is we're going to try and get as high and as far as possible.
Folks are wishing you happy birthday on the live chat, just so you know.
Oh, great. How's your frame rate and quality? I'm just...
everything looks good on my end. I mean, we're looking towards the sun, but that's both aesthetic and challenging, but it looks fine. It's not pixelated.
And the frame rate is good?
Yeah, I think it looks good. Look at
I mean, you got 30 frames per second or less?
I think we're okay. How would I tell?
Okay,
is there a setting I'm missing or?
No. Just if you see, if you see it.
Yeah, the quality looks good. So,
that's
resolution. Like the light just illuminates like every single spot on the flow field that's actively pumping out gas or heat, it like just brightens that. Just
And you can see here are some of the older lava fields of those 8 or 9, which form this layer cake here.
Mm-hmm.
And the older ones have cooled down somewhat, so you can see a little bit of snow there. Whereas, for example, the 1-year-old, the black one we saw when we took off, that's still warm enough to melt off all the snow.
Right. Yeah, all the recent ones are still very warm, but excuse me, all the old ones that formed hundreds of years ago.
Well, I'm actually referring to like the older ones from.
Oh, so those have
December.
Okay, like December,
say,
like the oldest ones of this series. I got you.
Yeah, December 18th, 23, January 14th, 24.
Right. It's hard to tell on just right there. Like, you know, you can see patches of what looks like white, but I can see a little bit of a yellow hint to it. So I think a lot of those things, like in the bottom foreground, are sulfur deposits at the base of that cone.
Let's showcase again how easy it is for the user to control. I'm going to just switch over control to you now.
Okay.
So we are here at our May 29th crater, the Red Devil, or yeah, well, it hasn't got a name yet. So if anyone has a good idea for a name, you can just pitch it in.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful there. Yeah, so now Johan's just taking us down there, friends, just to kind of speed things up a little bit. And now I'm the one actually kind of flying the drone. As easy as pushing buttons on a keyboard.
I might want to just catch a photo of that.
Yeah, that's awesome right there. Pull back a little bit.
I am recording this, by the way.
Oh, perfect.
So in 4K on the SD card, just for you.
Oh, thank you, sir. Yeah, that's just beautiful. Yeah, so all I have to do is tap the space bar, takes a photo, and then those get uploaded later. I've learned little tricks from Johan, like move to the left, but move the camera to the right. Gives you some nice little effects there. So this is our May 29th crater. This is probably the most aesthetically pleasing of all of them. This nice spatter cone with all the colors in it. Excuse me. And then you can see this big outflow channel here at the base where some of the lava came out of that vent.
Well, the July 16th crater is a contender, of course. It is really awesome. And
yeah,
I just caught it the other day in this kind of light. We will catch it on our second flight. It looks awesome in this sunlight.
Yeah, last time we talked about our calendars of Sunnukur 2026 or something. Look at the swirling cloud there in the crater. It's just kind of rotating clockwise. Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Like swirling right around in the crater. You can zoom in a little bit more. Camera up a little.
Let me just do that. Let's go to 7.
Yeah,
and back up a little bit.
Yeah, back up and go left.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you have control.
Yeah, I can do that. Here we go. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, you can see it just barely drifting over the rim. Excuse me, and then just a little bit of just a convective current or something there in the crater. That's beautiful. Boy, you know how to pick the day and the lighting and the conditions, my friend. Well done.
Yes, you're right about that. So since we have the modem on, why don't we go a little bit further south to that awesome crack in the ground that we used to look at when we flew from Grindavik Stables.
Yeah, at the base of Hagafeld.
That was courtesy of Arctic Horses in Grindavik, by the way. A little pitch here.
Yeah, nice view of that little shield volcano there. And the greenhouse is no more, I've heard, right? So the greenhouse has been permanently deconstructed.
Oh, I didn't know that. You know more than me. I'm so busy.
I think maybe I heard that wrong, but I thought that's what I heard either from Amanda, Joe, or someone. So, or maybe that was its fate, is that they were gonna take it all out. Yeah, so I can see that crack down there.
Let's take the camera down a little bit.
Yep.
That just wakes up the light sensor here.
Yeah.
So you're looking at the crack, how it. Well, we like we mentioned before, Shawn. So in there are many touristy places in Iceland where you can sort of walk between continents. Like there's a bridge in Reykjanes where you can do it. But
Right.
seeing as we have the 5 main fissures here, and this is the middle one, you could really, if you're going to pick a place to say this is like the boundary between the 2 tectonic plates, this would really be the one that you would pick because it's the middle one.
Right. Yeah, that's great right there. Yeah.
We are coming towards that, what used to be our favorite
there's
place to showcase.
Crack in the nice tuft of outgassing going on there. Picture of that. Can we go? Is it okay if I go lower?
Yeah, you can go lower.
Great.
And closer. Just dip right into there. Just take the light down just a little bit. If you see it overexposed, you can just let me know.
Okay.
I just got this little 5-inch screen on my RC. I don't have my laptop set up for this flight because you've become such an expert, Shawn. I don't need to babysit you on my laptop.
Well, hopefully.
Anymore. Oh, that's awesome. Catch a photo of that, Shawn.
Yeah, that's great.
Just fix the focus. When you stop, I'll fix the focus.
Okay.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, these are great. Yeah, the lighting's just incredible right now.
So for the audience, yeah, I was going to be in our old place today, down in Grindavik, just to maybe look at the new walls. They just heightened the walls. It just took them up by around 3 or 4 meters. That's the inner wall that protects Grindavik, because the neighborhood in the north and the apartments in Grindavik have been declared safe to rebuild and repair and to live in the future. So the future is looking bright for Grindavik. You remember just a year ago, people were saying like, nobody's going to live there for the next years or even decades.
Yeah.
But, it's coming alive. And,
yeah, like what a difference 2 years have made, right? Like look where we were 2 years ago versus now. It's quite the contrast.
Absolutely. And if this is, well, which it is, a start of a new volcanic phase that could be decades or a couple of centuries even at most, then for Grindavik, I mean, if it starts in Grindavik, then it's actually a good thing because it's then going to move on to other places. That's not a very scientific estimate.
It's a good one.
Yeah, because it's just like with current events in human nature. You look at history, and to make these predictions, we look back in a geological history. Basically, we have this volcanic phase from the 12th century till 1304, and then we have this one 2,500 to 300-ish years ago,
right?
And the one 4,500 years ago, and they do follow the same pattern. Most of these fissures will erupt. It'll move from one to the other, and so it's probably going to go down pretty much the same way as it did the last time. Oh, this just looks awesome here.
Yeah, like really nice view there. Can you make it a little? There we go. I was going to say it's a little dark, but that's perfect. Thanks for the adjustment.
Oh yeah, I have to adjust it. I'm just busy talking. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
So yeah, the future looks bright for Grindavik, and of course, it's all about when people can come back with their children. Schools open.
So
autumn 26, maybe.
With the government, like basically buying their houses when all this happened, do they basically turn around and buy their house back at the same price? Is that kind of the way that can work if you want to?
It's going to be kind of flexible. There is a National Recovery Fund that bought the houses from everyone who wanted to take the deal. They can then make a contract to sort of lease it back to pay, pay a low price. So you don't have to make the decision yet. So you can sort of try and move back, see how it works out. And then, yeah, they have first option to buy it back. And many people are planning to do exactly that. It looks awesome here.
How much higher have they raised the berms, do you know, around the town, Johan? Those been raised up?
Let me just take control just for a little bit.
Yeah, you're fine.
It's actually over there. So this wall basically around here.
Oh yeah, now I can see it.
we go to, I actually filmed it the other day when they were doing it. Oop. We got enough battery.
Yeah, you got a little less than half, especially with no wind.
Yeah, exactly. Zoom camera on. So basically, the inner wall, the one that protects Blvd in case there will be a lava flow down there, has been heightened somewhat. I mean, we're not really expecting any eruption to go that way, but it's a sort of contingency. So
Right.
what I'm going to do is fly a sort of new route here over Hagafell, since we got the modem on, try and get some awesome views. Because I can fly 120 meters above ground, so we can
Oh,
take
nice.
advantage of.
Yeah, a lot higher.
So you'll be my altimeter, Shawn. What
Okay.
does it say on the left side?
You're at 62, 60 as you go over the hill here, about 60 meters.
Right.
Yep. Anything new over
Cool.
at the power plant Blue Lagoon in terms of anything they've done there, or kind of just pretty much same berms, same? Yeah.
Just Blue Lagoon, tourism, the
same. Business as usual, right?
Business as usual.
5 minutes after the eruption is over, they're back in there, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, the power plant is at full capacity. We did lose electricity the other day, a couple of times. But that was just, I think, because someone did something less than smart.
Is that a quarry at the base of Silingarfelt there? Is that new from making the berms? Or is that...
Yes.
Okay.
And I just filmed the other day when they were extending the berms, and the mine is quite close. It's actually right next to Mount Thorbjorn, and it is a feat to see. I think there were about 20 like heavy trucks, like backing on top of those walls.
Wow.
Just dumping their load, one every 2 minutes, and bulldozer and excavator on top of the wall, and it just literally did this in a couple of days. Well, I'd say 6 or 7 days.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, the rate at which they were able to move that much material, remove it, transport it, and then place it again. Nice view there. Yeah, Vogar in the distance, a little town up ahead.
We can see all the way up to Snæfellsnes here.
Yeah, I can just barely make that out.
In these weather conditions here.
You're at about 130 meters right now, just see.
Yeah, I'm going to get way higher here when we cross this mountain here.
We're going over the top of Silingarfelt here. This is one of the steep, I guess, hills or small little mountains around the area that formed from these subglacial eruptions. So when we had glaciers covering the Reykjanes, we had eruptions that built up material beneath the ice, and then as the ice melted and withdrew, that left these large, steep hills around here. In a lot of places in Iceland, that's the story when you see these very kind of steep, especially kind of isolated mountains in the distance, as they were subglacial at one point. Is this all recent snow, or is that just frost still that we're seeing on the ground?
There was snow the other day.
Okay, so a little bit of snow still sticking around.
On the mountain, it's frost, but here we're looking at a perfect example of what I just mentioned. So here we have a
little bit older flows, like 2-year-old flows versus younger ones.
Yeah, exactly. So this is from January 14th or December 18th. Right. It's draining battery quite fast here. Oops. That could be a problem.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a tight one.
All right, well.
No, it's going to be fine.
Little drama for everyone here, so we know the drone's in good hands. If anyone can do it, you can. You can at least get it over the moss, and then you can just take a dive in the moss.
Well, my strategy is I'm quite high up.
Yeah. That'll give you a little bit more of a trajectory to come in.
Yeah. Sorry about the sound.
No, it's fine. Adds to the drama. Have about, well, it is dropping kind of quick, but
No,
I think you'll make it.
Yeah, I just got into sort of like landing mode.
Yeah, last time we did, when you did put it down a little short of the pad.
Yeah. I got a couple of places. No, we'll be fine.
Yeah, you're only 100, you're 80 meters out. Oh, no, that's your elevation. Sorry. We're used to those tailwinds that we get sometimes when we do these flights. See the Subaru.
Wait. Some tourists here.
Yeah. Background. They're probably like, you're Johan with NatureEye? That's incredible.
Oh, they're actually filming here.
Awestruck.
Okay, I got 400 meters out.
Yeah, you're good.
4% left on the battery. 3%. Yeah, I got this error that sometimes comes up, like battery draining faster because of, well, still 3%.
Yeah, you're good.
It's because of the code that it sometimes doesn't read the battery properly.
Yeah.
But I seem to have timed this pretty perfectly.
Yeah, you got that. You nailed it.
I'm getting all the way to my little airport.
Hello. You have a little audience there. Those Americans,
I
or
do.
what nationality are those tourists? Hey, they're happy. Yes.
So we're flying with NatureEye. You can go to natureye.com.
Yeah.
You can book one of these flights
Yeah.
and fly the drone from your computer at home. I'm doing a live stream with Shawn Willsey on his YouTube channel. It's the best channel on geology. Shawn
boy.
Willsey. All right.
Oh, excellent. Good marketing there.
Let's just for you, Shawn.
Yeah,
I'm
thank
going
you.
to switch battery and
Yeah, you're fine.
let's go to the north.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you. So that was fun. Yeah, folks. So just like Johan said, you guys can go to NatureEye, use the code ShawnFly to get 10% off. Do a flight with Johan in Iceland. You could gift it to family or friend, someone you know, maybe your a child's classroom teacher. They do a lot with education and school groups, so that's a good idea as well. But we'll get the battery changed. We'll head out to the north end of the crater, check out that area. And then once we wrap up with our drone flights, stick around. We'll do a couple announcements and such. We'll look at some of the latest data from Iceland and see if we can get a sense on where this thing's at. Of course, no one knows exactly when the next eruption is going to occur. It's all sort of projections and models. I'll share some graphs from our friend Bruce Gardner with you as well.
I think we should share the ground.
Yes.
Not arguing.
No. Oh, that's Professor Shawn Willsey's YouTube channel. Yeah.
Good job. There you go.
She's the tour guide here.
Yeah.
Those pesky tour guides. I think they own the place. Anyway. So take it away,
Okay.
and I'll fly us to the north.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so we'll head up to the north end of the craters here and just take a look around, see what we can see. You can see some of the older lava flows there in the foreground with a little bit of snow and frost on them. The more recent flows that still retain heat are still black as they're warmer. Basically, the snow and the frost acts as basically a thermal camera, allowing us to see differences in how old the age is of the flows, which is kind of cool. Got our little, I think that's a little island out here, surrounded by
This area
lava.
is just an awesome layer cake here. So this is from the November 21st last year, the one 1 year ago, the dark one.
Yeah, that was further north than all the other ones. Wasn't that the one that got Vogar a little nervous?
Well, that was the one we're going to look at on the second part.
Okay.
Sorry, the second half of our flight here. Let me just do a quick check here in a minute.
Yeah, great lighting.
I'm going to record this for you.
Yeah, it's great. Is there any still discussion about any sort of protective measures for Vogar or for the highway out there to the airport? Or are they just sort of still, well, I'm not sure what's going on?
Well, if the flow will go there, it'll probably go north of Vogar, where there's a factory.
Yeah,
and
the aluminum factory, yeah.
And some houses down there as well. I think it's just kind of difficult to protect or build walls to protect it.
Right, because you can't really divert it around the highway. It's going to cross the highway somewhere.
I can't really say what the plan is, and we're kind of focused on Grindavik, so
right.
It hasn't been discussed much, actually.
Yeah.
So here's where I wanted to go here. And speaking of Vogar,
yeah, there it is.
Let me know if the quality or resolution drops out in any way.
Okay. No, I think it looks pretty good right now.
You may lose signal just for 1 second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and folks, if you look just above Vogar there, way in the distance, I mean, it's faint, but you can see some mountains from the Snæfellsnes Peninsula, the big east-west peninsula northwest of Reykjavik. We got a blue screen, though, now.
Oh, yeah.
There we
go. Now you got video again, right?
Yeah, now we're good.
All right, yeah.
It just went out for a second.
Turning on the modem so we can get a little further here.
Yeah, that looks great.
That's what I wanted to get.
Yeah, where the real linear contact is on that flow. This is where I think the lava flow was running into and pouring into some of the big fractures and cracks on the ground already out there.
It looks awesome in the sun. Yeah, August 23rd last year. Remember that short violent eruption which forms the northernmost crater in this crater row, in this fissure, that we're going to look at here on our second part of our flight here. All right. That's just awesome. So Reykjavik in the distance, snowy mountaintops of Esja, and then all the way up to Snæfellsnes, really, if we can see it.
Yeah, you can just make it out. Like, you can see it right there.
Precisely.
Yeah, you don't get that many days in Iceland where you can see that far, but when you get them, they're nice.
in winter, these beautiful calm winter weathers. Now there is a phenomenon called Easterhæð in Icelandic. That would be something like a static high pressure zone, which
Mm-hmm.
is just keeping
No
the,
wind.
the
Yeah,
weather static.
yeah, still cold because of the time of year, but just no clouds, no storms, no wind.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love it. I'm not a summer type of guy.
You like the cold?
These kind of winter days, yeah, I mean, you don't get weather like this in summer in Iceland, in my view.
Oh, it's a great
Well,
360
you
there.
can in the northeast of Iceland.
Power plant there. Yeah, that's beautiful. 360. Setting sun.
All right, let's head for the craters. So you have this eerie outgassing here
Yeah,
from the whole lava field,
that is
from the
Mordor.
fringe
Yeah.
there. Yes, exactly. So we have the August 23rd crater here, which is
Mm-hmm.
lined up. We have our July 16th crater.
Just behind it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at how long the shadow is on that. You can just see that shadow line just on the left side of the crater. That's incredible.
Is this too dark?
That's a little dark. Yeah, maybe lighten it a little bit. Yeah, that's better.
I took it down. It's just at 0 now.
Yeah, that's great.
And the outgassing here,
Yeah.
we can just make out soon the mountain where we had those contenders for the Darwin Award during the last eruption.
That's
remember?
right. Yes. Our lovely tourists out there on that hill, defying the odds.
Yeah, it only takes one. The others will follow.
Yeah. No, it's true. Just, yep. Pull over and park your car, and everyone behind you does the same.
It's really difficult to get here. There's only one road here on the west side. Well, it doesn't really qualify as a road, but that's where we flew on July 15th, just before the eruption.
Right.
And and during the eruption, we did a stream from there too.
Yep. Right.
So,
the day before, I remember that.
August 23rd, right here.
Yeah, nice outflow channel at the base of that cone. Beautiful, good lighting. The oxidation there, yellow and reds. Some of the slumping of the crater there where those cracks are at the top. We're seeing some similar things over at Kilauea right now with its eruptions. Just sort of cracks and slumping into channel.
Oh, and that frosty decor we
Yeah.
have here. It's just amazing.
Yeah, that's a great view there. Yeah, the snow just really makes it pop quite a bit. The snow and the frost just really adds a nice contrast versus when we fly over it in the summer. And you can see the outgassing and steam much better with it just being a lot colder.
I mentioned before that, it's kind of cold just when it's just around 0, when it's still humid.
Mm-hmm.
When it drops just a couple of degrees lower, and you have this weather, you can just wear a normal winter gear.
Yeah.
And you don't get cold.
Yeah, and without the wind, it's not as cold for sure.
Without the wind and without the humidity, it's just the best weather I can imagine anywhere in the world.
No, this is great. I mean, this is what I like to call primordial Earth. This is, you want to, without a time machine, since we can't go back in time, this is a little glimpse into what the Earth would have looked like billions of years ago, before life, before we had plants, algae, even just this kind of raw volcanic landscape. Just incredible. Outgassing. So this cone you said is the July one?
This is July 16. Remember, this
Okay.
is the smaller one that died down just a few days before the main crater died down. So it went on from July 16th until August the 4th.
Right.
And yeah, it was like the main crater's little brother for a while.
Yeah, that's a good looking crater there with the little
It
secondary
is a
crater.
contender for most beautiful crater.
Yeah, it's in the calendar for sure. It's on the podium.
Most definitely, yes. And you remember those pictures we got, these videos we got, where we had this white and then blue and then dark gray
Yeah.
vent? That's the exact location.
Okay. Excellent.
You can even see the remnants of those vents.
Yeah, and you can see
Right
where the
here.
flow coming out there on this side, on the east side. Yeah, that's a good
Lighting's
crater.
just a little
Gosh.
bit.
We've flown over the other one so much, I forgot how good this one was. I think it's taller, too. If I had to guess, I'd say this one might be a little bit taller than the other one to the south.
They both have this sort of tall side.
Yeah, like a raised rim, right? Probably from the wind blowing the spatter on that side, I would guess.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, so nice view there. This spatter cone and some of these smaller vents along the base. A little bit of the overflow there. Lava kind of draping on the east side here. Excellent.
Yeah.
And then
This part just looks amazing.
and a hole at the
We'll go
bottom where
closer.
the lava came out the bottom. Is that like a hole at the base there? It looks like it.
Yeah, you remember that's where the
Okay.
main lava flow was coming out.
That's right. Yes.
And
Yeah, it was draining out the base.
approaching the end, it's solidified almost, and then it would come out right there. Yeah, that's
Perfect.
exactly how it went down. Let's get a little closer here.
Great. Yeah, that's the centerfold calendar shot there.
Most surely, yes. You can see how it's venting a little there
Yeah, a little bit coming out
on,
of that
on the
one.
left side.
So this is what we're most likely to see with this next eruption, is possibly the formation of another one of these, or maybe several of these spatter cones, some of which can be 100 meters or so tall, depending on how they evolve and how much lava erupts from them. Secondary cone there.
Oh, I like the snowy camouflage it's got here.
Yeah, with the patterns in it are just really cool. Just like little spots where maybe there's a little bit more outgassing there, so it's still black, but then the rest is just white.
You can actually see the contrast here because the lava did not flow here to the rear of the crater.
Right.
It only flowed to the front.
Yeah, so that's just all spatter there. Oh, that's a cool shot there.
Let's do a little fade out shot here, going to the November 21 crater. Or let's call it the December 10th crater because it was the last crater to die down during the eruption a year ago. Oh, I just never get tired flying in this weather here.
Yeah.
It's going to look totally different on the next flight even.
Yeah,
Speaking
exactly.
of next flight, what's the time, Shawn?
What do you mean? Like for...
Just the time in general?
Oh, it is, sorry, it's like 39 minutes after the hour.
All right, cool. I have a flight on the hour, a private
Yes.
flight.
Yes, we don't want to keep you from that, so...
Oh, here's Mount Darwin.
Yes. There's where they were, the Darwin Mountain. And then you can just see, I think, can you see the cone at Fagradalsfjall just sticking up there?
Yep,
Yeah,
it's right
just
there.
barely. Yeah, that kind of square-shaped thing right up here in the top view.
Oh, it's sensitive. It's that one on the left.
Yeah, right here. Yeah,
That's
That-
in the middle right now.
yeah, the square kind of blocky one.
Oof. This is just amazing.
Yeah, great lighting. This is just a perfect day for this.
Absolutely. And here is Skeletor's Castle from...
Yes, with the multiple kind of nested vents. Those of you E-Man fans from the 80s. What was the? Do you remember which eruption this one was? This was.
This is the last crater to die down from the November 21 last year.
Okay, November.
It went on until December 10th. It was declared the end of that one.
Yeah, it is pretty remarkable when you think about these things. You know, we're active for a few days or weeks, and they're changing every minute, every hour, and then the eruption ends, and they're sort of preserved. I mean, that won't last forever, but in this Icelandic weather, that'll be preserved for decades. It'll look very similar. You could come back in 50 years, and that would look pretty much the same as it does today, maybe with a little bit more moss on it. Really neat that we're seeing this landscape evolve in real time. Like we're seeing these changes take place just in the last 2 years. Think about how much change has happened in this landscape. Really remarkable.
That's just awesome. You can see the outgassing in the sun.
Yeah,
here.
just all these little streamers, little wispy outgassing vents. They're a little bit coming out the top here of is this? Oh, that's a little tower. It's Dora Stokefeld.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought gas for a second.
Ooh. Amazing colors.
Yeah, oranges and reds. Just have your mom paint some of these.
Yep. And the fissure all the way down to Grindavik.
Excellent. Yeah, this has been great.
Do a crash dive here.
Yeah, this is is this the February flow? 2024?
This darker one here.
Yeah,
looks
that's
like a
one that
river.
went to the west. Yeah.
That's also November 21
Okay.
from the middle crater.
Right.
You
Yeah, there was a couple that they
middle
overlapped the
crater
same
was
spot.
one,
Yeah. I was just thinking of the one that took
No,
out the
sorry, go on.
pipeline. Yeah, the one took out the pipeline, but you're right. Then November kind of went over that same path, like superimposed.
There were three craters. That middle one flowed here, looped all around the power plant and the Blue Lagoon, took out the road
Right.
again, and smelted one of the parking lots down at the Blue Lagoon.
Yeah, you didn't have to cut it as
Helicopter
close on
going
this
in.
flight. You got plenty. Well, this
I
has
wanted
been
to do a-
great. Well, who knows when we'll fly with you next, Johan? It could be the real deal, or it could be another great kind of scenic flight like this one over the lava fields. But I know you'll keep us posted when something happens over there, and hopefully we can get another flight up from the
Yes,
next
of course.
event.
Now we'll try and keep it monthly, and what I would really like to do is like when it really snows, and you have a contrast between the snowy mountains and the snowy old lava fields versus that.
Yeah, that sounds great. Just let us know.
On
This-
a weather day like this, covered in snow, that's my favorite.
Oh yeah, you get the big
Absolutely.
storm and then it's really calm right after. That would be great. Great views there to the
So-
east.
We're going to use the last of our battery to get up high and get a nice 360 view of the entire area here.
Excellent.
And
Yeah.
that's our lava field from 21. And we should do a stream of the lava flow from 21. We haven't done that for 2 years
Yeah.
because I can get all the way up there now.
Yeah, that would be fun too.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that landscape a little bit, but not that well. That would be interesting.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine. You to the north there of Vogar, out to the Snæfellsnes Peninsula.
Vogan on the right, and Njarðvík and Keflavik, and the
Airports to the
international
left.
airport here.
Wow, that was really awesome.
Absolutely amazing weather day. Just couldn't be better.
Well, remember, folks, you can book one of these for yourself or a friend. NatureEye.com's the place to go. Want to do one in Iceland with Johan, that can be arranged, or they have some other locations as well. So just be sure to check that out. Consider that for a gift idea for someone. We want to keep Johan busy over there in Iceland with flights and such. Otherwise, we'll just continue to collaborate with them when we have weather windows and when we have eruptions and things going on that allow us to do that. So, Johan, you were a tremendous host as always. Thank you so much for your time. There he is. There's the MVP right there, friends.
Let's do one thing actually, because we have a little bit of battery left.
Oh, into yourself.
No, sorry, I got the camera tilt set to low because I wanted to get a little photo frame of our.
Oh yeah, get the logo in there.
Logo here.
There we go. There's some marketing for you.
That's a NatureEye landing pad right here.
I even took a picture of it.
Excellent.
That's excellent.
A little novelty here.
There you go, friends. There's there's the name and the logo right there. Tell your friends, spread the word. There we go. A successful landing, if ever there was one. Awesome.
All right, I'm going to prepare for my next flight.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Yep. Thank you, Johan. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good flight.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Adios. Alrighty. So, yeah, so we were able to do the flight there with Johan. Hopefully everyone enjoyed that. Here, let me switch to something more exciting. There we go. Yeah, so just check out NatureEye.com if you get a chance to. Very nice. Let me take off my headset. I don't need this now. There we go. Much better. Okay, so what we'll do with the rest of our live stream, hopefully everyone's doing well. Remember, if you have questions for me, we'll get to those here at the end of the broadcast. You can submit those on the live chat. Just follow the prompts by our good moderators, Susan and Amanda Joe. They'll give you some directions on how to submit any questions that you want to give me. I'll try to handle those as best I can. But a few announcements here for the good of the order, I suppose, just as we get our community together. I'll try to do one more live stream sometime in mid-December. Maybe we'll do some sort of like end of year celebration kind of thing. Last year we did some giveaways with some merch and stuff, and that worked pretty well, but we might have to do it a little differently this time because we're probably a little bit bigger than we were then. So just want to remind folks that we have our website, willseegeology.com, that Amanda Joe set up, so you can go here and among other things, you can check out our field trips. So we do have a few field trips coming up in February. I think the Saturday one might be full, but I think there's still space on the Friday and the Sunday field trips. One's to Snow Canyon State Park, one's sort of a transect from the St. George area of southwestern Utah out towards into the Mojave Desert, essentially, just right across the border into Nevada. And then the Sunday field trip is looking at some of the structures in the area, the Hurricane Fault, some of the folds in the rocks. And then we also have, this is a ways away, so we really won't push this one too hard till we get closer, but even picked out, some field trips for May here around Twin Falls, one day to Craters of the Moon, one day to City of Rocks, and then another one in the Hagerman area looking at sort of the lava water interaction story. So those are available. Want to remind folks we have our merchandise store. Amanda Joe set this up as well. So if you want to order some items for yourselves, someone else, that's an option. And we even have there we go, some holiday stuff. So we got some special Team Willsey wrapping paper, some ornaments. There's some sweatshirts, t-shirts. If you're interested in those are available for you. So those are some fun things there. Then I received one of our viewers, Kate, who's in Minnesota, she sent me this very cool calendar called Splendid Sands that friends put together every year. Each day on the calendar is like a close-up view of sand from a specific location, and just incredible, cool detail of, could be fossils in the sand, could be little grains of different minerals. But I just thought, hey, I bet some of our interested in that. So if you're interested in ordering that calendar, just type in Splendid Sands calendar. It should pop up. So there's the link for it there, the 2026 calendar. So if that's something up your alley, wanted to make a plug for that. So Kate, thanks for sending me that calendar. It's going to go up on my wall here as we get through December. And then I have a colleague back east. There's, a lot of you live in the eastern U.S. and, I'm obviously based here in Twin Falls, and you have written to me or commented about doing more stuff in the eastern U.S. And, unfortunately, it's just such a vast distance and expense and time to get over there that, that won't be a whole lot I can do in that area. But I do have a colleague who has a YouTube channel. His name's Callan Bentley. He teaches in Virginia, and he has some videos. So he's got videos as well. Some are field videos. Some are just more like lecture style videos, but I wanted to give him a little plug. So if you're interested in more information about the Appalachian area, Eastern United States, he has some nice videos as well. So Callan Bentley would be a place you might want to check out as well. Let's see here. So what else do I have? So the only other thing I can think of is to look for, I think we're going to do one this week. I teased this earlier. Few weeks ago, I did some videos about Hurricane Melissa, and I teamed up with a meteorologist, Ben Papandrea, who lives in Boston. He's a great educator, a wonderful science communicator, and we're going to start to put together basically like a course, if you will, kind of on weather. Now, some of you might be like, well, that's not geology, but it's all earth science, and I've always been interested in the weather. I'm a very sort of amateur weather expert, I suppose. So I think it'll be super fascinating, but I think we are going to try to get at least that first episode out sometime this next week, so you guys can look for that. Just basically learning more about how the weather works, how our atmosphere works, more or less just one 15-minute lesson or so at a time. That's at least the vision we have. And then finally, before we get to our Iceland update, for those that want to donate to our cause here, help us produce more content, more videos for you, there's several ways you can do that. Some people opt for a monthly donation, so you can go into this PayPal link and set up a monthly donation if you want to do that. If you want to do a one-time donation, that's fine. There's this other link called here, Buy Me a Coffee. That's another way to donate. Or you can go straight to my website, and there's a way to do that as well. There's a nice big, take out the merch thing, there's that donate button right there. That'll give you some options as well. So for those that want to and are able to, there's some ways to support the channel and support the good stuff that we're doing here. So, okay, so without further ado, let's get to our latest Iceland update. Unfortunately, there's nothing new from the Met Office over the past week or so. So I think we'll just get right to some of the actual data. I do have some Bruce Garner graphs to share with you. So here is our earthquake data. And I suppose just to kind of maybe take a step back a little bit for those that might be a little bit new. So the area, of course, that we're looking at and focusing on is pretty much along this red line here. If I pull up all the past eruptions, it's going to be kind of messy here, but here's our last eruption up in here. I don't have the lava flow map for that, but April eruption, which was down here near Grindavik. Adding in, this was the November 20th eruption, so we just flew over both of these craters in our drone flight with Johan. Also, the August 22nd eruption shown in green. We actually just flew over this kind of interesting geometric bend here, the lava flow where these fractures and cracks are. May 29th, shown here in kind of this teal color. And I suppose I need berms. Pop, there we go, shown in green. Yeah, this is going to get a little messy, but I'm just kind of going through all the eruptions. Going back to the March 16th one, and it's kind of overlap there. I probably should have done these forwards chronologically. The February eruption, the January 14th eruption, which occurred partly in the town of Grindavik, and then the one that set this whole thing off, which was December 18th of 2023. So we've got about 2 years now of these eruptions taking place. You can see more or less the area that those lava flow fields have covered. And so we are expecting the next event. Now, the next event could be an actual eruption, or it could be an intrusion event. It could be an event where magma is injected into rocks in the air, in the subsurface, in the area, and maybe starts moving into some new space. The most likely thing, just based on past behavior, is we're likely to see another eruption, most likely here east of the power plant, somewhere in this little section here. That's where, you know, I think most people would say the highest probability is. But the thing that will sort of set this off will be earthquakes. Now, if it's going to follow those same pathways that are existing there to the east of the power plant, then we might not see a whole lot of earthquake activity leading up to it. Those conduits have been established. Probably need to break some of that partially solidified or cooled lava as the magma kind of moves through the system and through the plumbing system, if you will. But that might not produce a ton of earthquake activity. If it's more of an intrusion, if we're actually going to move magma out into the rock, into new areas that it hasn't occupied before, then that's going to cause a lot of earthquakes, basically rocks breaking as that magma propagates through fractures and spaces, or makes those spaces wider by breaking the rock. So earthquakes would be one thing to continue to monitor and watch as we kind of head towards this next event. You can see the last 24 hours, not much happening. Basically, there's been a less than magnitude 1 quake near Grindavik, a few more quakes over here in the Krishevik system, but that's sort of a typical pattern that we see. That's background levels, nothing out of the ordinary as we look at the Reykjanes Peninsula. That's the 24-hour view. If we look at the last week, so this goes from November 15th through today, maybe yesterday, the 22nd, you can see a couple earthquakes there around Grindavik. Biggest one here, a 1.1, very small though. So really just, 5 or 6 earthquakes, nothing to really too excited about. Some of these offshore quakes here, which are very typical along the plate boundary, those quakes near Lake Klevervat in the Krishevik system. Again, just everything's pretty much at background levels. Not seeing anything here over the last week that would seem to indicate anything anomalous going on. And then, of course, another big part of our tracking of this magmatic system is looking at the GPS data. So basically, how much things are moving up and down, east to west, north to south, sort of three-dimensional motion. There's a big gap here in the Svartsengi data, so we might look at some other stations to see what's going on. So maybe a good one to use. This one here is pretty close, so we might this one. You can see this bottom graph here with the red dots is just the position of the GPS station and how much it's moving up and down vertically. See, there's some error bars here, but the general trend is that since the last eruption in July, goes off the graph here, but definitely through August and the last 3 months or so, you can see this upward trend overall in the data. Sometimes it ebbs and flows a little bit, but overall there's been inflation. You can also sort of make a case that it's slowing down a little bit. So I think even the Met Office update, the last one we had, seemed to indicate that the inflation rates, the rates at which these stations are moving up, has slowed down a little bit. And that can mean one of two things. It can either mean that your magma supply into that system has waned a little bit and has slowed down. But I think the more likely interpretation is that basically the magma has filled all the available space. The ground, which is somewhat elastic, rocks are a little bit elastic, is moved up about as much as it can. And now it's essentially a pressurized system. So now it's just a case of how much more magma, gas-rich magma, can you pump into this system before you reach a breaking point. And that's the big unknown, right? We don't know exactly, is that going to be tomorrow? Is it going to be 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now? So that's sort of the idea there behind that. So some of the GPS stations we could actually go in, might actually go. Yeah, so here's the last year for the Svartsengi station, just to give you some context. So here's coming off that November eruption about this time last year, then quickly turned around to an inflationary signal. The ground was uplifted. That went on for several months until the April 1st event, which was mostly an intrusion, but also a little bit of an eruption. You can see magma left the system, the ground deflated or went downwards, subsided, and then recovery and continued inflation going up to our July 16th event, which is our most recent eruption. And everything deflated a little bit. And since summertime, we've been pretty steadily showing an inflationary signal there. And that's about where we're at now in late November. So it's well above the threshold of each previous event, but that's what we've typically seen, is that each successive event rises to a higher elevation before we reach that breaking point, that threshold where the eruption takes place. Yeah, so not a whole lot to show you differently with the GPS and the earthquakes. Earthquakes are at background levels very low. GPS is just continuing to show inflation. There's still magma moving to the system, but nothing real remarkable there. Let me end my little update here before we get to the Q&A by showing you the latest graphs from our good friend and viewer, Bruce Garner. So he regularly sends us some of his data. And what he does is takes, pull up this one first. Here. So here is Bruce's latest graph. So he's tracking 3 different stations shown in the 3 colors here, blue, red, and yellow. And these go all the way back to last year, November of last year. So this is just the up-down motion, just the vertical component of motion for these 3 GPS stations. You can see them all tracking upward as we come out of that last eruption last year in 2024. Then we have the April 1st event, so they all drop and they all start tracking up, drop. And what he's done here is just looked at, how much uplift, between eruptions there was as like a percentage, I suppose. And then he sort of projects out that data into the future, extrapolates that data to at least give us a crude, very crude idea as to when that next event would take place. So what we're looking at here with the up and down lines, that's the real data. But when the line goes straight, that's Bruce's extrapolation of that linear or nearly linear data, just putting a linear trend to that data. And where each line intersects these horizontal lines are what he's modeled as the threshold needed for the eruption. Again, that's, an estimate for sure, a model. So he's got, at the soonest, he has, looks like around December 10th would be the soonest based on his model here. And the latest one out here would be around the 28th. So sometime in mid-December is when he, is estimating or modeling the next event to take place. Again, this is not, rigid science in terms of we don't really know. We're just sort of trying to model how these things might behave. But some of his prior forecasts have worked out pretty well. There's been others that, he was off a little bit, but at least it gives us some sort of way to look at the data and make some projections moving forward. He's looked at the earthquakes too, but the earthquakes are not that instructive for the most part. Like there was one day here in October, there was kind of a high earthquake count, but for the most part, the earthquake counts are pretty low. And then I think what he's done here is gone back in time and looked at earthquake counts for the last eruptions. And so you can see on some of these, like the July 16th, so what does what do the earthquakes look like just before and during the eruption? You can see we're looking at hundreds of earthquakes that take place with magnitudes that are a little bit higher. You can see that magnitudes are color-coded up here at the top of the graph. yeah, so some good stuff there from our good friend Bruce. So thanks for sending that in. Okay, and then one last thing. I thought it might be fun real quick to take a quick peek at Kilauea, because Kilauea is very likely to erupt sometime in the next day or two. Actually, well, it looks like we've got, this is not the full phase eruption. So this is what I was doing this morning when I came in. These are the two vents. You can see the lava is very close to the surface here. And then occasionally these are overflowing during these gas pistoning events. So the lava is overflowing the vent, and that's essentially what's going on right now. So if you're watching some of the USGS cameras in Kilauea, you can see that kind of dome right there. Lava is just spilling out of the vent. But this isn't the climax of these eruptions. What this is a precursor event that's leading up to the big fountains that we've seen with so many of these eruptions in Kilauea. So basically, possibly today or tomorrow, I would say, is the best likelihood that this behavior will progress to lava being ejected 1,000 feet, 300 meters into the air, possibly out of both vents as it's done previously. So that'd be fun to take a little look at Kilauea right now and what it's doing. There's one camera there. That might be the best one, the V3 camera. If we look at the V1 camera, yeah, it looks like this is, I think, is the north vent. So it's the south vent right now, I believe. That's the one that's producing the lava right now. And then if we go to the V2 camera, yeah, not as great a view there. So it looks like the V3 camera is the money shot for at least what it's doing right now. Yeah, so if there's questions about Kilauea, I'd be happy to. Yeah, so let's go to the questions for you viewers there. If you have any questions of me, it could be about Iceland or Kilauea, it could be about something else. Happy to entertain any questions that I can. I'm able to look at the live chat much because of doing the flights and such. So let me first go to Amanda Jo. So I'll leave that up there. That's some nice eye candy for us to watch until I need to switch the screen around a little bit. One thing that Bruce had asked, so this is a question that Bruce Garner had asked about some of the data he was saying. He was wondering if, let's see, that one of the GPS stations was higher than its last eruption, but the other ones were about the same level. He was wondering if that means there's more pressure centrally and it's not moving out into the intrusions, which might be confirmed by the very low level of earthquakes. Yeah, so we talked about that. So for the magma in the storage zone to be moving out laterally into new areas, we would expect to see earthquakes accompanying that. If the magma is just filling existing space in the system, then you can do that with continual magma input without having earthquake activity associated with that. Okay, so some other questions here on, these are early ones that were sent into Amanda Jo, and then she'll send me here in a second questions that you guys have from the live chat. But the first one here, and these are related to Iceland, so I might peel away from this beautiful view of these kind of dome overflows, these vent overflows here in Kilauea, and if I need to use Google Earth or something here. So one question was, is this the next eruption? If it's more to the northeast, how will the topography change the risk for new kinds of damage? So let's go to our little Iceland thing here. So remember, our last eruption was up here. And so if we continue to have more eruptions up to the northeast, how will the topography change the risk for new kinds of damage? Well, I think the main threats to humans and infrastructure here, of course, the highway and the town of Vogar. And, you know, everything flows. It's a downhill slope from here, from this area, out to both of those, both the highway and the town. The good news is this is a pretty big area. And there are some fractures. You can see some of these fractures and faults, these lines that run across the imagery here that trend northeast, southwest, that, as the lava's pouring out, it's going to interact with these, and it's probably it's almost like a mini berm if these things are actually topographically high features, or even if they're cracks, if they're big open cracks in the landscape. And I don't know if we can get into some of these close enough to tell. Yeah, maybe. So, the lava is going to need to fill in that crack before it can really propagate a lot further, to the north across the crack. So these are, in a way, like nature's own little structures that would help slow down that advancing lava and at least, send it in other directions and make it fill in other spaces before it gets down to the road and down by Vogar. So the topography that exists there, I think, is more or less helpful. You can also see there's kind of like some ponds here. So those are some low spaces that would need to be filled in. But I think there are some existing, I'll call them mitigation structures in place just in the topography, versus if this was just like a steep slope that was nice and smooth from, wherever the vent's going to be down to the coastline, those lavas would proceed pretty much more quickly and, unencumbered for the most part. Another question, the more northeast the activity goes, does it get closer to intercepting sills and paths related to the 2021 to 2023 Fagradals plumbing system? So that would be these 3 eruptions that took place over in this area. You can see the black there from the image. I don't think so. I don't think we're heading in that direction. I think, remember that these magmas rise towards the surface in fairly narrow zones and oriented somewhat vertically, and we call those dikes. And then when they reach other zones where there's maybe more porosity or permeability, they'll fan out laterally and form a sill. It just depends on the architecture, but I wouldn't expect that whatever the plumbing system is here, that it's going to interact with the plumbing system here. I still think you've got a few kilometers of space there. They possibly are at different levels, so they might be at different stratigraphic levels vertically, so you might not see that either. So I don't think that's a high chance of that happening. Another question about Iceland: what would happen if offshore activity to the southwest of the peninsula actually erupted underwater? Would there be island formations, and if so, what would they look like? Well, we have a few out there. Not many. Here's one, Blvd. This is a little chunk of rock that's sticking up. Just had a little power surge. Are you guys still with me? If you can see and hear me okay. A little weird power surge campus. We good? One of my monitors went out. It's fritzing. All right, a little bit of technical difficulties here on my end. Now it seems, no, it went out. Weird, but Man Joe says I'm still on. I just can only see my Google Earth image right now. I can't see out here. And now the on here. Not sure. Turn my monitor off and on. Sorry, folks. Yeah, there's just okay. Switch Earth works, but it's not letting. Well, if we don't get this fixed, we might have to end it a little bit early. That. Yeah, my other monitor just out. Starting it. Phone is out. Really weird. Well, very weird. Not sure. Oh, it came back on. Just it's just glitching is what it's doing. It's like popping up briefly and then going away. Like I just had it up and then it went black again. I can't tell if it's a monitor issue. The fact that my phone's off is everything looks good down there. Let me try restarting the Google Earth and see if that'll come up. We can limp through this for minutes and see if things get better. Worst case scenario, though, folks, is we can keep those questions and tackle those next time. You know, at least we got through the. Okay, so now Google Earth's working pretty well for me. Yeah, so let me at least try to handle that question. We'll see if we can get through this about earthquakes to the southwest of the peninsula here. So remember, this is a plate boundary, and the faulting on the plate boundary sort of drives things. But the question was more about earthquake activity. You can also see, well, maybe not, but the bottom icon here on Google Earth, the water's quite shallow out here. So it's only a couple 100 feet deep, maybe 100, a little bit more than 100 meters deep. So if we did have volcanic activity here to the southwest of the peninsula under the water, it still has enough water pressure on it that it's probably not going to be highly explosive. And even if it was explosive, it would be very localized. That's essentially how I believe this one kind of island rock was created here, is it's what's left of a phreatomagmatic eruption. So we could have volcanic activity in the offshore region. We're likely to see that at some point, whether that's our lifetimes or not, who knows. But that would be a very different type of activity than what we see happening north of Grindavik. The interaction with the lava and the water would be a little bit explosive, depending on how much water pressure's on it. If there's a lot of water pressure on that lava, it can keep it on the seafloor and just form pillow lavas. But eventually, as that builds up closer to the surface, it can become a bit more explosive. Okay, so don't have the question sheet. Well, I'm a one monitor operation now, so can't. Oh, popped up. So weird. It's like kind of working and kind of. Oh, I got it just in time. Okay, couple other questions here. Uh, let's see. How do scientists measure deformation of seafloor for the purpose of predicting offshore volcanic probability? That's a good question. To measure seafloor deformation, from what I learned in my most recent interview, if you guys saw this from yesterday with Stephen Carey, you do need cables, and I mean you got to have the right instruments on the seafloor to really kind of measure that, and so that it doesn't get done in a lot of places because it's very difficult to do. So offshore volcanic probability, I think earthquakes would be helpful. But the GPS and the deformation, obviously the INSAR and kind of satellite-based imagery is not going to work because you got the ocean there. And I think the GPS data, got to have it wired the right way, and that's not always very viable depending on where it's located. Will we see a third peninsula form? Will the rift relocate more south to accommodate this? Well, we do know that where we expect everything to jump at some point here in the future. The place where we expect everything to move over time, now this could be, long periods of time, human scales time, is over here. So the Vestman Islands over here, this is the East Volcanic Zone. And this is where, closer to the hotspot, and this is where eventually the plate boundary is going to, I mean, we use the word jump, but it's, jump sounds dramatic in one fell swoop, but we do expect volcanic activity to migrate from the Reykjanes over to this zone here going forward. And so this is where a peninsula is likely to form in the future. I think CERT sees the sort of the southern end, and this is a rift that's actually propagating to the south. So we might see another CERT type episode where a volcano rises out of the ocean here to the south sometime in the future. And you can see there's quite a bit of shallow water here until you get to this, this shelf here where things drop pretty precipitously. Okay, so let me see if I think I covered most of those. Oh, one more question here. Would parts of the fissure reacting with groundwater during an eruption, we've seen this a few times already, cause any changes below ground that might affect how a subsequent eruption could behave? I think the explosive part of the interaction is given, but what would the combination result in different lava hardening to the rest of the dike, for instance, that would help or hinder the next eruption? Let me read that through again and make sure I got it all. I mean, I think I see what you're saying. Like when we have a phreatomagmatic eruption, it's more explosive, and so you're widening it out. So certainly down probably a few tens of meters or so, you could enhancing fracture width and maybe some of the space that's available. But with a combination result in different lava hardening to the rest of the dike. It really depends on, I mean, there's so many variables here with these types of eruptions. How much water you have, how much lava you have. A lot of times the groundwater's there, but the lava is ascending at such a rate that it's kind of walled off. So it really doesn't interact with the lava at all. Other times, as we've seen with some of these last eruptions, you get a much more equal mix, I suppose. And so the groundwater has a significant input into the lava and it becomes more explosive. And so I guess I can't totally answer your question because there's so many little variables here. But in general, I'd say that, yeah, the phreatomagmatic eruptions caused by the interaction with groundwater would produce some changes in the geometry of the plumbing system, if you will, that could affect subsequent eruptive behaviors. Sort of the crux of your question. So hopefully that helped a little bit. Okay, so let's see. The monitor's still out. And so, when I click on my email to open it up, there's nothing to see. So yeah, it's really just my office phone is just lights are on, and this monitor and everything else seems to be. But I'm not seeing anything over here, so I can't access the second set of questions. It pops, it's weird, it pops on and off every now and then. Yeah, I almost had it there. It's like I have 2 seconds to find the file or the questions and then like drag it over. I can do it here. It's like playing whack-a-mole, something. So we'll see if this works here, team. I mean, again, worst case scenario is we can just kind of wrap this up here and try to get to those questions another time. Close, right there. Ah, I got them. As long as they open on this screen. Okay, there we go. All right, so some other questions here. Again, I'm going with just one monitor here. From Annette Filt, are they totally sure the area of magma is not connected to Kruševik? Yeah, the way these systems, they're separate. I mean, at depth, if you go down deep enough, there probably is some connection there. But as they ascend into their separate sort of shallow chambers, there's so at a deeper level, they are connected. And we know that from the samples of lava we've collected at Fagradalsfjall and these recent ones here. We know that those are coming from a common deeper source. But they're sort of operating separately at the surface level. And there's no evidence right now that the magma over here at Kruševik, that it's ascending. It's probably down there at depth, but it's not moving up. It doesn't show signs of doing anything differently there. Okay, okay. Go. Lord Dusty DeWind, if lava hits a power plant, does danger of steam explosions exist? I think there'd be so much lava going into like the Blue Lagoon's just a shallow little puddle if you want to think of it that way. And so I don't think it would be very explosive. I think you would just sort of vaporize very quickly that little bit of water. The power plant, I don't know how to tackle that because you've got the metal buildings and the pipes around that water. If there was, so I'd say sure, there's probably a steam explosion risk, but it's pretty low and it would be localized. I don't think it would be, something catastrophic that would impact, a kilometers size region. Slipstreaming, do you think that the ebb and flow of magma intrusion could be following old lava tubes elsewhere like Bogart, etc.? Is that even possible? I don't think the magma intrusion ebb and flow that we see on the GPS data, where you kind of see it go up and down, trending upwards, but there's like little fluctuations. I don't think that that's a supply. I think it's coming up at a fairly constant rate, although we don't know that for sure. I think that's just more the behavior of the crust and the ground responding. So it's kind of like, you're pumping magma into the crust, but it doesn't inflate in a nice linear, consistent way. It kind of like stretches a little bit and more magma gets pumped into it, and that rock has some elastic quality to it, and then it stretches a little bit more or maybe in some new pathway. So that would be my thoughts there. Dan Cooper, is the crater filling in at Kilauea? We could go to the so this is how fun these are. There it was overflowing, and then it kind of died down pretty quick. Through overflowing from the vent, and now it's below the vent rim. Done until it starts pistoning again. In terms of filling in the entire crater, and I talked about this in my last Kilauea update, it's brought it up, what was it, like 85 meters or something like that. So it's substantially filled in part of the crater floor, but you still have like so much more space. It's probably only filled in, without doing the math, it's probably only filled in 20%, maybe less, of the entire crater volume with this last year's eruption. So I think it's got a long way to go to actually fill it in again. JLR 3636, the island of Hawaii is the largest. Has the crust movement over the hotspots slowed down? No, I think the movement of the plate is pretty uniform. You know, maybe not exactly year to year, but it's over long terms. It's fairly consistent. Jan Clancy, have you looked at the documented footage of pyroclastic flows of Semeru? Any post-eruption footage of volcano? No, I haven't looked at that. I think I saw a video post. I just not had a chance to dive into all these things. End of the semester, grading, moving offices. Yeah, just life. Excuse. Karen Trimmer, is the uplift on the crater floor of Kilauea just caused by lava building up, or is it caused some of it caused by pressure? So certainly when there's magma injected into Kilauea's summit region, signal there. You mean just the crater floor where we're seeing all these eruptions take place? As the hot lava fills in the crater, it causes the crater elevation to rise. But as that lava cools, it contracts and sort of. And again, I went over that a little bit in my last update. Kind of, you can see data, you can see initial kind of tick, but then it settles back down to a new level. So it doesn't drop to the same place it was before the eruption, but there's a thermal contraction element subside just a little. Okay, so, well, at least I got through some of the questions there, and I can see folks now. Now it's kind of working. That's weird. Oh, it just went out again. Oh boy. Yeah, hopefully this went okay though, friends. I think we'll call it good for today. I want to thank Amanda, Joe, and Susan for being at the helm on the live stream. That was very helpful to me. Thank you to Johan and NatureEye for participating and allowing us to fly the drone around, get some images. Again, please, if you can, support their business. That would be highly appreciated, natureye.com. We'll do one more live stream before the end of the year, probably mid-December. I will definitely kind of keep an eye on what's going on at Kilauea and try to do some sort of, maybe it'll be a live stream, maybe an update. Kind of depends on when it takes place and what's going on. But we'll do something with this next Kilauea event that's sort of ready to go soon. Hopefully I'll see some of you on some of the field trips that are upcoming. That would be awesome. And yeah, I think that's about it. Buy some winter merch if you want to. Appreciate your support of the channel. You guys make this place amazing. We have a great community of learners here. It's a very positive environment, and I appreciate you for that. So awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time, team. Take care. I have to see if I can shut the live stream and end it.